Welcome to Embarrassing Moments in Graphic Design. I tell my class at the beginning of the year that when I began studying graphic design in 1990, it was called commercial art, which in some ways is more truthful in name than graphic design. In the commercial world, designs will be more of a collaboration with clients and art directors. In the undergrad, it's more of a solo endeavor. There's an assignment to follow, but as a teacher, I would rather have it challenged. After graduation, good design is what you can get away with. It's push and pull with commercial and budgetary forces. It's a struggle to try and keep some of your creative integrity or DNA in the work, at least enough to have a portfolio piece. I want to say enjoy it while you can, but that'd be too condescending for my students, so I tell them this story instead. After graduation, my school would set up a portfolio day where professionals from the industry would come and take a look at our portfolios one-on-one in a large auditorium. All the students sat at the tables, and industry guests would roam around, stopping to look and talk to the new designers. Some students would get interviews and job offers right on the spot. The setup was 2 students to a table, and my friend Asha and I arrived early and sat next to each other at the table closest to the entrance so we could get all the foot traffic. Except nobody stopped at our table. We had miscalculated with the strategy, and everyone was walking right past us to the center of the room. Then a tall man in a vest approached. He looked at Asha's portfolio and chatted with her for a while. When he was done, he was about to get up and leave, but my pleading eyes caught his, and he sat back down to look at my projects out of pity. He casually flipped through the portfolio case that I had spent weeks photographing and printing and assembling in perfect order. Vest Man made some sounds but kept turning the pages until he reached the design of a book cover. It was a real book I had redesigned in 3 styles: typography, illustration, and photography. His eyes lit up when he saw my cover trilogy. "Oh, I know this author. Tell me why you decided to redesign this cover." I swelled with pride, and I told him I thought the original was a bit stale and predictable, and the color palette was kind of bad and it had no real concept. It needed something edgier to reflect the writing. I went on to tell him I used the color pink to represent the author's struggle with alcohol. "Yes, that's a great idea," he said. I tried to use pink as well, but couldn't get it past the salespeople. And then the author insisted I use a photo he found. My designer's pride left the table, taking my smile with it. "Oh, you mean you designed the original?" "Yes, and it was a bestseller," he replied, clasping his hands together and leaning forward with a self-satisfied grin. I thought of backpedaling, but it was too late. The trap had been set, and I had been caught. He unclasped his hands, leaned back, and wished me good luck, then stood and left for another table of portfolios on display. I looked at Asha, who had witnessed the whole thing. Her cheeks were flushed with embarrassment for me, as she tried to eke out a smile and say something encouraging. All I could think was, I'm so glad I already have a job. Well, thanks for joining me again for Embarrassing Moments in Graphic Design. And remember, design is serious, but life is not.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that's the whole point.